beautiful being. Welcome to the Becc Sahasrara Podcast. It's great to have you here. For you, if you don't know, you can probably tell, but my name is Becc Sahasrara. I am a feminine freedom leader and psychic magic mentor for women. I run the Sacred Temple, the Daughters of Eden Holy Feminine Temple for Divine Light. And I offer courses, classes, blah, blah, blah for all of this. More importantly, we are here today to talk to you about becoming the woman you are meant to be. And I wanted to firstly begin this podcast by telling you all about how this came about. This came about because I was like, wait a second. I am me, and I came here to be me. And what a gift. And I recognized that it was spirit, and of course, you're going to hear me say a lot, like, spirit told me to. So I do the things that spirit tells me to. That's how I operate, and spirit told me to. And spirit told me that, like, I'm here because this voice, this perspective, this essence is valuable. It is a gift. And I recognize how much in the past me, younger me, was not valuing her. And if you would like to become the woman you are meant to be, you need to value her. You need to see that she already is within you. And also the things that we are typically really good at, or that we're here to share with others and we're really here to serve, they're often things that we don't think of as super cool or like exciting. Like some people are like an amazing writer, for example, and they have no idea because they just write and then someone reads it and they're like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? And they're like, what do you mean? I just wrote the thing. It's okay, I guess. It's because it's so automatic. Like your soul essence, your soul intention is so automatically built into you that many of us, including you potentially, are walking around a little bit blind to like our actual gifts here and the way that others can benefit from them and others value it, and that you should too. So I think that I was doing that a little bit with my perspective. And I am here on a mission now. Obviously I've been on a mission for like forever, right? But I am on a mission to step into this feminine leadership because spirit told me to. And Kali, goddess, came to me in a vision and she said, lead my daughters home. But more importantly, my big mission is to become who I am and who I am meant to be, and remember the essence of who I am. And that is also your soul's mission as well, if you didn't know already. It is to become who you truly are. What this means is you without conditioning, you in your full power, you in your full expression, you in your full valuing of who you are, your confidence, your self-worth, all of that. Your heart open and free to love, free to give, free to be in yourself. If you had all of that, who would you be? Who were we? Who are we before all the conditioning and stuff that we live here? When you were born, there's a purity to that light. And all that we've done is we start to cover over that light. We start to cover over it with weird beliefs and stuff that actually make no sense if you're actually in your higher self perspective. That's why your guides are always looking at you with unconditional love, and they're always empowering you and not saving you from a scenario or something that you want to be saved from, or giving you all the answers or the lotto numbers. Because guess what? They are fully aware of your true power, and they want you to become aware of your true power. So I'm here for the women and the gentlemen. If you are watching, you will learn a lot. I'm here for you to remember who you truly are, to become the person you are meant to be, to become the woman you are meant to be. And I know for me in my life, becoming Becc Sahasrara was all I was doing my whole life. So when I grew up in when I grew up in the ritual trauma situation that I was in when I was younger, and they did repetitive and very, very violent mind control, what was really attempted to be stolen from me was my connection to my essence. And it it kind of, for a time, prevented me from being who I came here to be. Because especially also that I lived with dissociative identity disorder for a long time, I did not get the luxury of having the beautiful wholeness that you might have as a single personality self. The challenge involved in living with dissociative identity disorder, I would not wish on my worst enemy. I would not wish it on the people who hurt me. If that gives you any idea of how challenging it is to live in separation from yourself to that degree. You have, in dissociative identity disorder, you have memory issues, you have completely contradicting opinions, you feel out of control, you feel crazy, you sort of feel like you've lost yourself and then you come back. It's like a whole thing. So reclaiming who I am and that I am Becc Sahasrara was everything I came here to do. And that's what my guides have super been on me at the moment, or I've been on me at the moment, because even your guides are a part of you, is like, oh my gosh, like I just came here to be Becc Sahasrara without labels, without anything. Like, yes, I'm a mentor and I'm all those things and a channel, and I love serving in the temple. But all of that is not what I came here to be or do. I just came here to be me. And so I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I've been really recognizing, and one of the messages that Spirit's been really having me integrate at the moment is remember who the fuck you are. And I said to my business mentor, Jenna Black, the other day on a call, I said, well, Spirit started saying this to me, and I don't really, like, it's a bit of an aggressive statement, and I didn't really vibe with that. Meaning, like, you've heard people in the personal development field, they kind of say, like they'll get do really active, like, what's the word? Like, it feels aggressive, abrasive things, like jump up and down and be like, remember who the fuck you are, and like shit like this. And I just always, when I saw that, I was like, hey, like good idea, but calm down. Like, you need to chill, buddy. Like, it's all right. And then I started to get this energy of that, and that's what I've moved into now, is like, okay, like, if you remember who the fuck you are, it means, like, stop believing the bullshit, the painful memories, the painful trauma, the painful thoughts and beliefs. And it's true, because they are wrong. And if you want to become the woman you are meant to be, if you want to step into that feminine leadership, you've got to lead yourself there, sister. You got to lead yourself there. And that is hugely what I've recognized in, like, maybe the last year or two. Really deeply integrating, I have to take me there, and I will, because I have done everything. Becc Sahasrara has created everything in her life from a pretty previously deep state of darkness, and I'm still here breathing and blooming so powerfully. And that is credit to me and my sovereignty and my innate light that was untouchable, but also to Spirit, to the process of remembering the essence of who you are, to the process of becoming who you are meant to be. Becoming who you are meant to be, it is not about fixating on, like, this vision. It's okay and good to hold a higher vision of yourself, but a lot of the work, let's say, is actually about dissolving the illusion and dissolving the painful negative beliefs and remembering who you are instead of believing them. Because they are the forgetting. Boo. Boo. They are the forgetting, and you don't need to do that anymore, because you are a spiritual goddess. You are actually a blob of light. You are literally a blob of light, everybody. I want you to really think about this, actually. You are actually a blob of light who is incarnated as a person. And, well, now you think you're a person. Isn't that funny? Now you think you're a person. Whoa. What? And I promise you, I mean, this is going to take in a different direction, everyone, but I'm also, one of my intentions for this podcast is to be 100,000,000% authentic with you, to be in deep presence with you. This is Becc Sahasrara, unfiltered, raw, unapologetic, feminine expression. So what I was thinking was, when you come in and you're like, really land in the idea that you are a blob of light, it actually reminded me of the near-death experiences that I have had, where when I was out of body and kind of close to, or depends on your terminology, close to the other side or on the other side, depends what you think about that, you really have this feeling like, when you have a dream, when you have a normal dream and it feels really, really real, and it's like you've lived like a whole life in there sometimes. Think of the realest dream that you've had, and when you wake up and you go, whoa, maybe you go, oh, maybe that was intense, but I'm here. Okay, that was a dream. Or maybe you just go, okay, that was a dream, and you just carry on with your day. That is the experience when you do crossover, is that this life is a waking dream. It is. Because that's the best metaphor that I can come up with. So if we really remember that you are just a pure essence, what if you lived like that? What if you started to live without fear? Do you think you would live with less fear if you knew that you were a beautiful holy light that was untouchable even in death, by the way? When I remind myself of the idea of death and crossing over, it does cause me to become more fully and to step into more of my feminine leadership and my power, and say, okay, I'm going to live for this now, because this is so temporary. This is so temporary, and these negative beliefs and pains and stuff like this, conflicts, these aren't real. Like, they're a real experience in that they're happening, and you shouldn't aggressively spiritually bypass yourself or your emotions. But we need to remove some of the personalization of it and the full belief in it. Because it's not. Like, even as I speak about it now, I'm just really soaking in the richness of that awareness that all the things that have been holding me back, and all things that might be holding you back or did hold you back, they're all just like a fear. And yes, there are sometimes, like, living like that, there's logical risks and stuff we need to be aware of. We need to value our life and value the realness of this experience and live from that as well. It's about holding that background remembrance so that you don't get so bogged down into the forgetting. Hi, beautiful. Are you a woman who is in any kind of leadership position, or within your career you feel that you have to manage or lead multiple people, multiple projects? Or in your life, are you really looking to lead from a place of self-love, pleasure, and desire? If this is you, I want to talk with you for a moment about the importance of feminine leadership. Your ability to lead from your feminine is what's going to naturally magnetically create everything that you desire within your life, within every area: the passion, the romantic, the career, the finances, the wealth, all of that, your sex, incredible pleasure that wants to come online in your body and turn you on into the biggest, most full version of yourself, the all-in queen within you. How we do this is by really operating from our feminine leadership. A lot of women, we have not been taught this, and we are often trying to lead within our life, emotionally within, and in our jobs, etc. We're trying to lead from our masculine, and that doesn't work for us. It doesn't nourish us. It doesn't nurture us. It doesn't empower us. So if any woman, if you are listening and you are feeling really called to living from a place of desire, to create from desire, and to actually go through the natural feminine ascension processes that are within every every woman, the final one being called emergence. If you are feeling that call to actually emerge into the fullest version of yourself, I'm here today inviting you to my one-on-one mentorship container called Emerge. This is a really beautiful 6-month deep dive for the woman who is ready to become the woman you are meant to be. You are here to live this life of freedom, to use your voice, to use your full feminine force, to use your Kali, and to express and live that in every area of your life and have everything that you want. The romance, the wealth, the career, the direction, the heart-filled purpose, the children or babies that you might desire. All of that comes from your capacity to be within your feminine, to live from your womb space, and to operate from desire and overflow of abundance, of energy, of wealth, of soul wealth. Overflow is your natural state, not struggle, letting that go and leading from a hugely feminine, sexy place. If this calls you, please reach out to me on Instagram at the Becc Sahasrara or on my website. Okay, so have a great day and enjoy the rest of the podcast episode. And that so that the realness doesn't have so much power. We want it to have power because you are here to have a very real, full experience and to treat it as completely real because it is as real as can be. But when you are going into absolute forgetting, when you are going into really, I keep seeing and hearing the word from spirit, demolition, which I think is like, they're talking about like demolishing, when you really go down into your darkness and you start to accidentally like be demolishing your light. That is when you need a reminder that this is not all there is, that this is temporary and short, and do you really want to live like that? And you are here to just do one thing, and that's become who you truly are. So, oh my goodness, that's what I'm here to share with you. And I wanted to talk with you too about some of the things that I'm moving through in my life as well, because that's where I draw all of my perspectives. They come from my life and they come from my personal initiations as well that I've gone through. Especially even things that I channel, these are spirits teaching me, and then I integrate it and then I share it with you. Sometimes I'll share things that, I'm still learning about as well, but I try to do less of that to be in a fully integrated teaching space with you. But I mean that sometimes spirit has like a cool fact that I didn't even know, and I'll just say it and I'll just tell you. So yeah, in my life at the moment, it's really about coming into a really deep awareness of the things I just described, of like, I'm here to actually embody the fullness of who and what I am. I'm really obsessed with making and creating myself as a leader, not externally though, if that wants to happen, and I think spirit wants that to happen for me, so I will serve in that way. But it's about inner leadership, and when you hear me call myself like I'm a feminine freedom leader, I'm really referring to becoming the leader within. And that's when, if we were to work together or things like that, that's what we're talking about, is actually stepping into your leadership. Because it's your leadership that is actually going to make you take the steps and have the power and magnetism to attract what you need to become the woman you are meant to be. And the woman you are meant to be is really like the highest expression, the highest version of you that you can, that's on your heart right now, that you desire. And also, in that really pure, raw, rich expression of like, when you were a baby and you were born and you didn't have all these coverings, her as well, to become that innocence of yourself as well. So the way to get there is through feminine leadership. And that's why a lot of my work at the moment as well has moved into really mentoring the women who are here to go all in on yourself, to go all in and just step into the leading of who you are to create her, because you're ready to create her and you want to be her, and you're done with struggle, with like survival, with just like not feeling powerful, with feeling self-doubt instead of confidence, all that. No. You're here to become the woman you're meant to be. I don't even have to know all the specifics of you to know that you're actually here to live in pleasure to live from desire and pleasure. That's what the feminine leadership is about, is I live from my pleasure. My pleasure, my desire is the main motivation for everything that I do. And it's also, the feminine leadership is about self-love. So I value and see, and I actually actively and really definitely love myself. When I love myself, when you love her, what choices would you make? What decisions would you do? If you loved her, if she was already enough already, and she already was the woman enough, and because she's enough already, how can you help her emerge? How can you help her actually come out into your experience? And that is what again, as I said, all of this goes through my own initiations. That is what I went through. And the feminine work, and I'm sharing this with you ladies as well, because I want to share with you the magic that's possible. And I want us all to actually understand more about feminine initiation. So I think it was like two-ish years ago, maybe 2.5. I had this awareness that I needed to go more fully towards my sexual trauma. I had this strong intuition, because my whole process is that I lead my life as deeply as I can. I'm still very human and have make mistakes and have shadows. But I try to live my life from instructions from spirit and my higher self. And I will do what they say and change my beliefs based on what they tell me, and have a whole alchemical process with them. And I became aware, so I'll say like 3 years ago, I became aware, spirit started saying to me like, you've completed, they sort of gave me these visions around completion, like I had completed something, I had completed and I'll talk more about that in another video, but I had completed a lot of processing and cleansing work that needed to be done, so that then restructuring of my energy wanted to come in. And they said, you're going to change in a really deep way, and they said, your life is going to change and you need to let it. And that really brought on some really challenging experiences. It also brought on really intense visions and desires of what I knew I had to do. So I knew I had to, and I was being called to create a temple school, to create proper school and initiations. And originally I didn't even know, I didn't have the awareness yet that spirit wanted me to do feminine work. That wasn't really on my radar. I didn't imagine sitting here talking to you about pleasure and women's liberation and stuff. But I started to get visions about that eventually as well. And Isis said to me, rebuild the temples. And I went through my feminine initiations of remembrance. And what started happening for me was that I started to receive more visions. So for me, every day I sit down, or I try to every day, sit down and have a connection with my higher self, inclusive of my spirit guides. And I might be sitting there just listening to what they need me to know and making notes. I might be really triggered and doing healing work and healing process with them. I might be doing light language, which can be activating or healing. I might just be communing with my heart and just sitting in the higher self energy. And yeah, so I always have this communion with my spirit, and the goddesses started coming to me more fully. Like Kuan Yin was always around me actually for a long time. But there was another one, I want to say Lakshmi, but I don't know if that's right. There was another one who came around. There was also definitely Kali goddess, and she's still around, especially now that I'm talking about leadership. And Kali came to me as this beautiful, she looked basically like an Indian woman, but she's very tall, like I don't really know feet measurements very well, but like 7 or 8 feet, or maybe 9 feet, like really tall, and therefore like big, like she's like a big being. And she is all blue skinned, and my vision of her and seeing her, she doesn't have like the 8 arms and stuff, but I'm sure she could pop them out if she wanted to. She just looked like a beautiful, very huge, beautiful magnetic energy, blue skinned Indian woman. with dark black hair and like markings and all the typical Kali outfit and markings that you see on her. She's like this tribal outfit and everything. And she started coming to me and she started sort of saying to me, like, I'd be sitting there with my feelings or trigger or whatever healing I was doing, and she'd be like, you know, you need to scream, or you need to like do rage release, you know, or even sometimes if over time would turn into like, okay, now there's the invitation to do self-pleasure work, and as you breathe, for example, well, it's a very rough example, but like, you know, as you do that and you breathe, we're going to move this energy for you, and you know, you need to breathe in this color light in the moment of the peak of the pleasure. You need to visualize a chalice or see and receive this rose frequency. This is the whole dance of conversation that I can do very masterfully now, even in strong emotional states and stuff, because of the training that I did. And this is part of what I teach you in the spiritual schools that I offer. And yeah, so she started coming to me and asking me to do what initially felt like really uncomfortable things, like raging or sex and stuff. But you know what? You know why I was uncomfortable? It was because sex and anger is what I had suppressed, what I had been disconnected from. And I also, in regards to my dissociative identity disorder, I had like a whole group of parts of myself that were operating independently from this other part. I mean, that's the experience of DID, is having different alters. But having that anger and sexual trauma not integrated is what was actually preventing all those parts from coming together as a whole. Because my protective parts felt that like we're still holding on really, and felt like they still needed to be around to protect me. And of course I still have innate protective qualities and parts of myself, but it's just not the same experience of like inner division that it was. And yeah, so Kali come to me, and like when I would do these initiations, so I would do the release or I would do the self-pleasure thing, I would be in a different, I would change my state. I would have done alchemy, and I transmuted. I remember one time doing a self-pleasure on the guidance of Kali and my other guides on my yoga mat, and when I was completed, I had this really rich, tangible feeling and awareness and spiritual knowing, and that flood in my body as well, that I was more alive, and I recognized that I hadn't been alive before. And that might sound really weird, but a lot of women and with the sexual pathways and becoming who you are meant to be, is that these sexual pathways need to come back alive, and they have been dormant for a lot of women. And it's not just like, it's not simple sex, it's actually your life force energy. It's a concentration, it's actually a concentration of creative life force energy. And so many women, because of the suppression and the patriarchal vibes that we've been living in and buying into in ourselves, and the shame that you've been carrying, that we need to take responsibility for and turn into power and turn into pleasure and turn into leadership. All of that is suppressing our true magnetism, our true creativity, the true beautiful, more radiant health, more energy, more aliveness, more dance, more song, more expression in a healthy, beautiful expression. All of that has been suppressed. And if you are like me as a woman, you might not even be aware that you are in a limited state of yourself. Sometimes we're not aware that something was missing or that something wasn't as good as it could be until we get that missing piece back through whatever reason. And when I had that state change, I was like, wow, I've really not been fully alive, and I really need to do these goddess practices. And oh my goodness, there's a blue Indian woman in my room. And yeah, so I had lots of experiences like that, and I just follow my intuition, and I just follow what Kali and the goddess teaches me. I also at one point for a very short time had a feminine embodiment coach who helped me do some pleasure processes and rage processes to really transmute some stuff. And all those things allowed me to get back my leadership power. Because my leadership power, my force, Carly's saying to me now, my force. She uses the word force. And that is such a fucking Carly thing. Okay, so women and Carly, it's actually about the transformative, power that you have to be a force of energy, to be a force of magnetism. And then on top of that, of course, the capacity to be a holy vessel for very high light, to birth more than just babies, to birth. It's an incredible force that we have. I want you to think about like Mother Earth, and think about like when she throws a tornado. She does it, and then like all these trees break down and like they get uprooted and things move, and what happens? It creates change. And I see the image, and the symbol for this is, for me anyways, a lightning bolt. So that Kali force is the capacity to create change, to destroy, to create new, to rebirth. And if you haven't done the work in your feminine initiations, you are probably living half a life with that. And you might even be unable to like word it properly, of just being like, I just want to be more. I just want to be, or maybe you're like, I want to be that vision in my mind's eye of this woman who is just more confident and free. And like, you might have this picture in your mind of like what it would be like to like go to a social setting, go to a party, and just be like that girl that maybe you've seen and compared yourself to in the past, where she just walks in and she just feels really good, and maybe men look at her a little bit, but she doesn't really care that much because she's in her own vibe, and she's like dancing really like sensually and even fun as well with her sisters, and she maybe like there's just two people dancing and she doesn't even care, because she's just so free in herself, because she's dissolved the shame and all of that was in her sexual pathways. She's not ashamed of her anger, her expression. She's not ashamed of her force. She's not holding it back. She lets it change her and change her life and be expressed. You came here to be like that version of you, whatever your flavor of that is. You came here to be her. And I certainly wasn't like that until more recently, until I went through those initiations a couple of years ago. And wow, what a difference. Hi, beautiful. I hope that you really enjoyed and received from this wonderful podcast episode. If you are a magical or spiritual woman who enjoys the word magic, I really want to invite you to check out the Daughters of Eden Holy Temple for Divine Feminine Light. This is a beautiful sisterhood community, and it is the place to learn how to do magic within your body, to create natural ascension processes, healing, creation, manifestation, birthing, and just like beautiful, sexy, magical things that I can't even describe to you in words. To actually do that together with sisters in ritual, to learn the actual practices. In this temple, we have a monthly women's circle, a monthly women's class of magic and physical training to get you to learn how to do this, because I know so many women who want to live from their feminine, who want to actually activate that feminine energy and really understand, like, what does it mean to live from my womb? What does it mean to actually be magical? And we first need to actually do the practices. And so I've created a holy space of sisterhood for us to come together and do that. So not only do you have the monthly women's circle, which is great to connect with sisters, because just being around each other nurtures our energy. You also have the magic class, as I said. You also have a beautiful online community container for all of us to keep connecting and celebrate your wins, your growth, your sadness. If you need space for your emotions, this is the place. All of that. And we also have every 3 months a proper feminine rite, RITE, which is something that the Holy Sisterhoods of Mary, the Holy Sister of the Rose, have asked me to bring back into your remembrance, to our collective remembrance. This is a deep ritual practice for women only, and it creates really deep magic within ourselves and the collective. So I would love to have you there. You can check it out at my website or DM me on Instagram at the Becc Sahasrara. Okay, have a great day, and thank you for being here, and remember to shine your light, be who you are, remember the essence of who you are.